Welcome back, Guardians. My name is Samlab. Fellas, another week, another TWAB. No, I was kidding. Sorry, I've been watching too much as the Cross Destiny 2 videos. I do appreciate a lot of his perspective, but welcome back. We are hopping into a very unscripted video. I wanted to give my somewhat planned out thoughts in terms of what was discussed this week, and of course, the Edge of Fate. So I will do my best to talk in a very succinct fashion, because I'm noticing, as somebody who's neurodiverse, I tend to pause when I'm trying to work out what it is that I want to say. But for this TWAB, what we will do is discuss everything pertaining to the Edge of Destiny specifically, story and lore, and then I'll give you guys like a quick update in terms of what the plan is on the channel for the next 6 months, I would say, into 2026. So, this week in Destiny, we're ready to reveal the Edge of Fate. That's right, folks. We're pleased to not only confirm that's the name of our next big content drop, but also the date we will reveal a lot more information about it. More details below. Join us on May 6th for the Edge of Fate reveal about the Rite of the 9 blocky weapons, redefining our system comms, double Nightfall rewards and new emblems incoming, get your Keen Thistle sniper rifle tomorrow, prepare for the next Bungie bounty, another round of hashtag D2 fashion feedback. So, we're going to be covering the first 2 of these, the Edge of Fate reveal and also Rite of the 9, but more specifically not the blocky weapons, but we'll go over that really quickly. So, save the date for the Edge of Fate reveal. In the final shape, we faced extinction and rose above the witness to stop it forever. In the aftermath of our battle, we dealt with Maya, Sundaresh, and the Vex first, then with Fikrol the Fanatic, and the Scorn, and finally with, well, the Oryx, Savathûn, and Zivora Wrath. Now, I really want to stop here. I was literally editing a video just now on my iPad. I've been editing it the last couple of days. It's been really frustrating because I don't have a mouse and I can't click, yada 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 yada. And so I figured, you know what, I could produce this video in less of the time and literally put it out within the hour. And so there's nothing like having a good desktop computer. I digress. I want to preface, or I want to make something clear. We have only dealt with Oryx. We have encountered Savathûn and Zivora Wrath. They have not been dealt with by any means. Savathûn continues to return because she has as many contingency plans as Mara Sov does, maybe even more, and the same level of contingency we expect from Eris Morn. The 3 of these female characters in Destiny tend to have an overarching theme of contingency, and they tend to point towards what is the next power or powers or significant gap filler villains. I couldn't think of a better term for that. I am not scripting. So, but it's important for you to know that this is the case. We haven't dealt with Savathûn. We have encountered Savathûn. We have thought we dealt with her, but ultimately we keep coming back to fight her because Savathûn is way ahead of us in multiple ways. In the sense of she understands that the game that the Destiny story exists in is a game. And that game is the Flower game. This is the game played between the Gardener and the Widower, light and darkness. Now, we haven't actually encountered who the real Gardener is, quote unquote. We assume it's the Traveler, but we're not 100% sure. But we have heard from the Widower, and what's really interesting is, based on the way that the Widower behaves, and Bive has talked about this, Evase has talked about this, I've talked about this, many other lore content creators have talked about this, there is a lot of overlap and similarity between the way we have recently heard from the Widower and the Book of Unveiling. Took me a moment to remember what that book was called, but yes, the Book of Unveiling, and the way that that character who narrates that book sounds very much like either the Witness on some pages or directly like the Widower. So we will see as time unfolds what is to be expected from how the story moves forward, what is the essence of true darkness, because at the moment we understand that light and dark within Destiny's narrative in the hands of Guardians is malleable. It takes no sides. It can be used for either good or for bad. And so we've seen that throughout Destiny's history and Destiny's lore. But yes, Savathûn and Zebra Wrath have not been dealt with. We have encountered them. I think I'm probably just arguing over semantics, and we could sit here and debate, but I think ultimately the Bungie narrative team is who would be able to give us a lot of clarity. I'd love to interview one of those guys. Maybe we'll see about making that happen. So, the whole Hive Pantheon, but also the Taken and the Dread. Now, we have faced off against the Taken multiple times. We have defeated different Taken generals or commanders, whatever you want to call them. There's a hierarchy. We learned in Season of Heresy, spoilers, that according to Oryx, each Taken is very much their original composition. So for any Hive that are taken, they are still very much Hive and somehow are still connected and exist even within the Hive Pantheon, even as Taken, which I find very interesting. So the same could be said about the Vex. And the same could be said then about any other species that's been taken. So what's really scary about that is, and we got to experience this through learning about Savathûn's son, who Oryx took, and how he had a level of consciousness similar to Curia, Blade Transform, and his level of autonomy and being able to do things without being commanded to do them. So I don't want to go too deep into the weeds on this because I know that this video is probably already very long, but I thought it was important to touch on that concerning the Taken. Now, as for the Dread are interesting. We have dealt with them and we continue to deal with them. They just seem to keep popping out of the woodworks. No idea how many Dread the Witness made, but they're a species and they're here to stay. Again, another race that is amalgamation of other races, very similar to the Taken. So it makes sense that these two enemy types would essentially work together because their composition is similar, but just put together in a different way. It's been a year of closure in many ways, but also a year of hope, looking ahead to the future. So, how about we tell you a lot more about what's coming next to your favorite video game, Guardians. Tell your fire team, put on your best fashion, save the date, and join us on May 6th, 2025 as we reveal the Edge of Fate and the upcoming year of Destiny 2. Be ready. So many of you have seen this already. This is the image for the reveal image. Mr. Ruffles has done a lot of breaking this down because he said there's potentially an AIG. I'm waiting for somebody to crack this because I'm pretty sure, as we all know, Bungie never puts symbols in their images unless there's something that they want to show off. But there are two things I want to point out about this image, and it's in reference to the 9, and we hear three things that happen in relation to them. One is the event horizon, which leads us to connecting with Savathûn. There's lots about that in the lore. I have various lore videos discussing that, but I'm doing one massive video at the moment about the 9, to be expected either next week or the week after. There's also the fact that this is a black hole, and we know that one faction of the 9 is using black holes to essentially seed their own existence, is how I refer to it. And then the other thing is the event horizon, which I'm pretty sure I just mentioned. Singularity, excuse me, that's what I meant, a singularity, which is usually like a condensed spatial anomaly. Somebody who works for NASA can correct me or not. I'm really hoping that Kaz PhD's in the comments, because he could probably weigh in on this, and I would love to have him on the channel again to talk about this. We've worked together many times. He also makes Destiny lore, so I will link his channel in the description. But yeah, so 3 different types of spatial anomalies, or I don't want to say fissures, something that is space-based, but I'm going to assume that this is a black hole because it looks like a black hole, or an eclipse, okay, because there's a lot of light shining out from behind this, so it could very much be a planet in front of the sun. Who knows, but we'll see. But that's kind of where I want to end this video per se, but I'll quickly run over the regarding blocky weapons. So, a few short weeks ago, many of you stumbled upon something we'd never seen before within Destiny 2. A few activities tied to the Rite of the Nine went live early. In some ways, this was fun. This was a fun moment for the community, getting in and seeing content before it was meant to be seen, before it was meant to see the sunlight. The activities represented are very early passes of what we are aiming for: lacking balance passes, solo-friendly waypoints for Explorer mode, and more. So this is really interesting because they gave us, like, this is a massive spoiler right here, solo-friendly waypoints. Okay, so this is the I assume, or I'm speculating, that solo-friendly waypoints for Explorer mode will be the equivalent of our live service single player mode for missions? Question mark. Be interesting to see what that is, and more. So I'm going to stop back there because I don't want to go too much into the weeds. You guys have probably already watched everybody's TWAB breakdown, but in terms of the lore, I think that's where I want to focus on the most. And what's really important for us going into the Edge of Fate is I'm excited, and I hope you all are, and my hope is this is Frontiers. So this is the best jumping on point for new players. So if you are new to Destiny, or you're a veteran and you still watch my videos and you're like, Samlab, I don't know, I burned out, I gave up hope with Bungie, I don't know what's going on. All I will say is, never say never. Don't you want to go on a wild epic adventure? And I know that we have been speculating and predicting and getting hype, and the hype crashing, but honestly, with balance and perspective, is gaming not about imagining worlds and incredible ideas and fan art and concept original soundtracks and us as players giving developers feedback? I'm not saying that all the dull stuff about business in the games industry doesn't chip away at us, and I don't think that we should move past the fact that, yeah, a lot of people did get laid off from Bungie, and like RIP, but a lot of those people have gone on to do great things and their work still exists. But for those of us still here, the Edge of Fate is an exciting promise with a lot of promise. The next thing that I will say is also, with this being the beginning of Frontiers, we can get excited for a couple of things, okay? In connection with the 9, there is a little large system out there beyond the heliopause, beyond the rings of Saturn, and it goes by the name of the Jovian system. Now, many of you probably got super excited just hearing the mention of the Jovian system, because you know that I have mentioned it on this channel a billion times. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only people that still talks about the Jovian system, because I'm like, and I know that there may be some Bungie narrative team that watch my videos from time to time. I appreciate the heck out of you guys, super fan here, but if y'all take us to the Jovian system, I'm gonna lose my mind. That is the system watched over by the 9. I was gonna say governed, but law is a little loose, a little speculative. We can assume that they rule over that area. We don't know if a colony ship made it out there. we know that the terrestrial array in the Cosmodrome in Old Russia has terminals specifically for the Jovian system. So there's potential for that, and I really hope that that happens, because we know that several echoes went out past just our immediate solar system, which is the Moon, Mercury, Titan, Venus, Saturn, Deimos, all those planets. But what we're talking about is the future of Destiny and moving out beyond that, whoever the next big bad is. Potentially the Nine, or one of the factions of the Nine. The next thing that I also want to mention, in connection with the Nine, that we can also look forward to, is the Ahamkara. Now, we have potentially six new Ahamkara whims, are what they're called. That's the name of young Ahamkara. We haven't heard anything about them since Season of the Witch, I want to say, or Season of the Wish. Yeah, Season of the Wish was probably the last time we heard anything like really, really concrete. And we don't know to what extent Savathûn's bargain with Riven goes on. And we don't know to what extent Mara's bargain with Riven goes on. So, there are a lot of low fruit hanging in the air right now that the narrative team could literally pluck. Some juicy, like, pear-shaped narrative and give us a whole bunch of new questions to get excited about. So these are my thoughts surrounding the Edge of Fate. I hope you all are as excited as I am. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, put them in the comments. If you have complaints, put them in the comments. I will take as much critical feedback as I can and keep improving on this channel as we go forward. I'm a one-man band. I don't pay for somebody to do all this work for me. I literally do it myself. That goes for editing, VOs, the works, everything. But I love it and I enjoy it. And so, yeah, please keep watching videos. I'm gonna work on some other lore videos while I wrap up this mega one. It's probably gonna be the longest one I've done since the complete history of the Elixir. You can YouTube that. It's a good video. Yeah, I made that in partnership with I collaborated on it with Kaz PhD. Still one of our pride and joys. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you have enjoyed watching and listening to today's video. If you have, be sure to comment below and give this video a like. Consider subscribing and click the bell to find out when my next lore video goes live. Remember that no matter what you're facing at this moment in time, you can do all things. Stay safe and Godspeed.